Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
When I was 21 years old, I would be home alone at my parents' house a lot. We lived on a little pond which was directly in our backyard. On the other side of the pond was a little town park. Our neighbors were a bit spaced out. It was a pretty upscale, expensive block compared to the rest of the town, so the properties were big. I'm fully moved out now, but this was back when I was in college. My parents make a lot of money, and we have multiple homes, so often I was home alone. It was a random night in the summertime. I was off from school, so I can't remember if it was the weekend or a weekday.
Do you enjoy being home alone? Let me know in the comments below. For me, I like a lot of space and alone time, and I actually do live alone. So I'm pretty much alone a lot when I'm at home. But let me know, do you prefer to live alone, or do you like having a roommate? Let me know in the comments below.
But odds are, since I was home, it was a random weekday. I was in the back sunroom watching a show. That was my favorite room in the house in the summer because it was the most cozy and had the best breeze with all the windows open. I was right on the corner of the couch, closest to the corner window, when I heard splashing from outside, like in the pond. It could have been a goose or duck. Sometimes they'd fight in the water and make a bunch of splashing sounds, so at first I ignored it. But as it persisted, I decided to lower the volume on the TV and listen. I put my ear up to the window even, and I heard consistent splashing sounds, way too heavy to be from a duck or goose. It sounded like they were splashes from a person. I opened the door in the sunroom and stepped outside to the deck. I looked out to the pitch darkness of the backyard. I now heard a man's humming along with the splashes.
That would be so creepy, wouldn't it? Like, oh my god, I don't even know what I would do if I stepped out and I heard someone splashing around and humming in the water like that. That would be so creepy.
Someone was definitely swimming in the water. They were trespassing. Each house on the pond owned a specific chunk of the pond. I stepped inside for a second to flick on the lights to the backyard deck. As I did this, just a bit of the pond was exposed, and the splashes and humming stopped. Whoever it was clearly saw me. I wondered if it was one of the neighbors going for a swim or something, which also just seemed weird because no one really swam in the pond ever. But honestly, whether it was or wasn't a neighbor, I wasn't going to confront whoever it was. I stepped back inside and turned off the lights, of course locking the door as well. I texted my brother, who was away at college, about it. He didn't answer right away. I was trying not to creep myself out over it, but watching TV after this was kind of hard. I couldn't focus on the show. I looked out the window, but all I could see outside was darkness. I still had the TV.
Yeah, after an experience like that, you wouldn't be able to watch TV at all, would you? Do you think you could just forget about that kind of thing and just go on about your way? Because, I don't know, that would be a very paranoid kind of like unsettling thing to witness.
On in the background, not realizing how revealing the light from the TV would be outside. And then I thought I heard something on the deck. I hurried to find the remote and turn off the TV, and as the room went black and silent, it took me a few seconds to adjust and realize that there was the sound of someone's heavy breathing right outside one of the many windows in the room.
Yeah, at that point too, I'd be like, oh my god, like this is getting really ridiculous.
Instantly laid down flat on the couch to try and hide myself, and after a short moment of silence, a deep voice from outside the window said, "I see you." My heart dropped into my stomach. I couldn't decide in the moment whether to speak or keep hiding, so I just blurted out, "Paul, is that you?" Paul was the name of one of our neighbors. I said this, clinging on to the hope that maybe it was him, and he was just messing with me. But the man outside didn't respond to this. I just heard footsteps walking away. As the barefoot-sounding footsteps faded to silence, I still laid flat on the couch, too afraid to move. I laid for a few minutes before the thought to go check that all the doors were locked came to mind. I exploded off the couch and ran straight for the front door. It was locked, as was the side entrance door. After a little while longer and texting my entire family about what was going on, my dad told me to turn the backyard lights on and check if anyone was still out there. He basically told me to be the man of the house and protect it. So I listened and checked the back deck through the window. It was clear. I brought a big knife outside with me onto the deck, and I looked down. There were wet footprints that had half dried by then, but I could tell that they were barefoot footprints. I followed the trail of footprints around to the side part of the deck, and what I saw was nightmare fuel. The top part of someone's head, namely their eyes and forehead, was peering just over the edge of the deck from the ground below, looking at me as if he heard me coming and was waiting. As we made eye contact, he turned away, and by now I was ready to call 911. I did so before even telling my parents.
Yeah, all of that would just be literally terrifying, wouldn't it? To see the top of someone's head like that, right, kind of like above the deck. And weren't the windows in that room that he was in open? So I feel like he could have easily climbed in if he wanted to. And so this is all just like really, really not good stuff.
I locked myself inside waiting for them, and when they came, I felt instantly better. They asked if our family had any enemies or people who don't like us, or if we have any problem neighbors. Questions like this. They did do a quick sweep of the property and then left. I decided to shut every window that night and run the air conditioning just for added safety. When I awoke the next morning, I was just delighted to see sunlight. I don't believe that man ever returned to our house, and we still don't know who it could have been.
Well, I think that personally, it probably was just some random bum hobo guy that was probably just going for a swim and just kind of, I don't know, maybe just making his way through that neighborhood. But either way, that just goes to show you, even in like super safe and secure, rich, fancy neighborhoods like that, you're not truly immune to creepy things happening. And that's why it's always important to have your doors locked. And I don't know, I think, you should be able to keep the windows open in your own home, but I think that he was lucky that the guy didn't walk right in or climb right through the window. So, but either way, this is definitely a creepy story. And you just want to make sure that you're always taking precaution, even if you are in a nice neighborhood. But yeah, I thought this was a creepy story, and I hope you enjoyed the music and my commentary, and I will see you in the next episode.